So this is the simple if statement. It only prints things out or executes what's in these braces in here if the statement inside is true. What if we want it to do one thing if true and another thing if false? Then we use something called the if-else statement. It's identical to this, except there's an addition. Else, open bracket, close bracket. And in here, we can have it print something else. So I'm going to change this to is it less than 5? Okay, so in the if-else statement, this else is part of the if statement up here. Okay? This is the comparison that gets done. If the result is true, this gets done. If it's false, this gets done. Let's build. Wait for it to compile completely. It works well, so let's come here and let's just step through, well, clear the screen, clear page, and now step through, and as expected, the statement is false. In here, if you wish, in either piece, you could have more nested if-else statements. For instance, in here, you could say, if A is less than 3, else an if-else statement about A being less than 3. Or in here, if A was greater than 10. You could have embed these in here as many layers as you wish to go down. But we'll also talk about something called a switch statement later, which makes some of these things easier to do. One more thing I want to comment on is that it's possible to make even more complicated instructions here. And that's by using modifiers where you say, if this is true and that is true. So this guy is for and, double ampersands. You can also have or, which is 2 pipes. So this is or. And there's also, if you put in front of a statement an exclamation, something like this, right? So not A less than 5. Our A is 10, so it's not less than 5. A less than 5 would be false. Not false is true. So this is actually true. So you can use that exclamation mark on a statement to get the converse of the statement. So we can do combinations here. We can say if A is less than 5 and A percent 2 is not equal to 0. Okay. So you'll remember this is the, excuse me for a second, this is the modulo, right? So modulo 2 basically asks, gives you the remainder of the number, and the only numbers can be 0 and 1, right? So this statement says, is it an even number? So this is A less than 5 and A even. Okay? Both those things would have to be true. So you can make quite complicated in combinations here. And you can keep going, not just 2, but 3 or 4. It just gets confusing the more comparisons you're doing inside the same statement. So let's see if I've got any typos in here. No typos. So it works. We'll see what we actually get out of it. The statement is false, right? Because A violates the first one. It's not less than 5, and it's also not an odd number. One last point to warn you about. If you were going to rate if you wanted to see if A plus 4 was less than 20, doesn't matter what I'm actually comparing here, you had to be very careful here. Does that is it A plus A equal to A plus 4 less than 20? To make sure that your statement is interpreted the way you want it, you should put brackets around any complicated statement. You first want this evaluated before the comparison with 20 is done. That's all for now.